Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Today, I'm going to be talking about the brand Babloat. I know I've done this before. I've talked about the brand. I've talked a little bit about the history, but at least out here, it seems to have like superstar status. Everybody talks about Babloat like it's Nike, right? It is a top brand in tennis, but how? Why? Stay tuned. Okay, guys, I don't know about where you guys are from or where you live right now, but at least out here in the San Francisco Bay Area, people who, like, I would say 80% of the people who walk in, like, Babloat is God, right? I play with a Babloat. My kid plays with a Babloat. My wife plays with a Babloat. It seems like if you don't own a Babloat, you're not cool, right? It's got the cool status. It's the cool racket. Everybody's got to have a Babloat. Well, how is that? Why is that? How did it get its superstar status? Well, it started about 20 years ago, right? It really started, well, 20 years ago is when the Rackets came out. They've been making strings for over 100 years. Best natural gut in the world. We always talk about that. But people to this day think that they are a new brand. Well, they're not a new brand. There's a lot of history there, right? They've really only started making rackets about 20 years ago. The person that put them on the map is Andy Roddick, right? Fastest serve in the world back then with the Pure Drive, right? Pure Drive Andy Roddick edition. That was a half inch longer, right? The Roddick edition Pure Drive. Okay, so he put them on the map, right? Then came Kim Clijsters that put her Pure Drive, is a Pure Drive Plus, on the WTA map, right? I know there's different players before them, some players after them, but those were the main two players that really put them into like the forefront of a brand in a tennis racket. Because prior to that, I mean, a lot of people have tried to break into the market, but number 5, number 6 racket brand in the nation was about as high as you can get, because Wilson always dominated, right? Head, Prince, right? Who can't forget Prince, right? Prince dominated. Wilson, Head, right? Who battles for third? Is it Yonex? Is it Dunlop? Who else is out there? Volkel, right? So you're basically fighting with Volkel, Pro Kennex for that number 6 or 7 spot. Right, I know like Yamaha came out and had a splash for a bunch of years. Who else was out there? Pacific, right? Pacific was way out there. But hey, nobody in history has ever, within literally 10 years, become the top tennis racket brand. Now, why and how did they become the top tennis racket brand so quickly when you had a heritage of Prince and Wilson, right? And don't forget Head. Well, I was talking actually with Eric Babloat, right? The son of the owner, who's now basically president of the company in Colorado one day. And I said, hey, Eric, how do you feel about being the top brand? And he said, well, I feel actually very lucky, right? He actually credits the brand having superstar status and being number 1 to one person, the man from Mallorca, Mr. Rafael Nadal. He credits him with giving the brand superstar status. As soon as we saw Rafa won the first Grand Slam, right? He was wearing Nike, right? So you got Nike on you already. You got Babloat racket in your hand. Who are you? You're not Roger. right? If you're not Roger, you're Rafa, right? So Rafa went from 0 to hero basically overnight. The way he played, right? His sexy looks, right? His guns, that little cutoff shirt without the sleeves that he used to always play with back in the day. What about those clam digger pants that he had that were almost all the way down like a capri? Remember those pants? Right? So he went from super long pants to super short up the behind pants that he keeps picking out, right? But Rafa is who put Babloat on the map, right? Like really on the map as number one. He also put this pure arrow on the map, because prior to this coming out and him using it, it was a 2-racket show, basically a 1-racket show, because the Pure Drive was the only racket that really did very well. The Pure Control was okay, but not suited for everybody. It was definitely a harder player's racket to use. Pure Drive was the racket that was mainstream and most people could use. But then you added your 1-2 punch when the Aero Pro Drive came out. Then you had a second racket that was head lighter, built for spin, right? If you were a Rafa fan, you're probably going to get this racket. So we had a 1-2 punch at that point, and those 2 rackets alone, Aero Pro Pure Drive, catapulted them to number 1 and number 1 for a long, well, I would say a 5-6 year period after Prince took that nosedive. So Pure Control, which was the 3rd leg in the rackets for them, really didn't do very well. It got transformed a few times to Pure Storm, finally into a Pure Strike in that first generation, that black and red racket. Didn't do very well for them, but they found another guy, right? Dominic Thiem. They called that racket Project 17, the Strike 2nd gen 16x19. Great racket, right? Great racket. And they got a good face for that racket, Dominic Thiem. We're into our 3rd generation now, and they are doing great now. So they're a 3-legged powerhouse tennis racket brand now. And of course, they revamped the Pure Drive this year, right? Which now, right, superstar status again, right? I wasn't a big fan of Pure Drive, except for the 1st generation, but now I have a new love for it again, right? This Pure Drive does well, right? I don't even really want to demo it because it's that good. People are going to buy it after they try it anyways. So I like that they think about their engineering. They know when they make a mistake and they have to correct it. So with that 1st to 2nd generation of the Pure Strikes, I like that they did the Project 17, right? I like that they changed the colors to white. So they're kind of listening to the people as to what they want in a racket and creating it. So now instead of a two-legged race, right, with just 2 horses, we got 3, right? So these 3 are top 10 rackets in the nation, right? It's hard to beat this. Their marketing is great. Rafa's still up there. He's going to win another 5 French Opens before he's done. And you got Thiem in the wings. Hopefully, he wins more than the 1 major. But hey, Babloat, hey, superstar status. It's cool, right? It's cool. French cosmetics in there. I mean, they made this banana yellow just so I can make fun of it all the time. So, hey, banana yellow. Right? I'm going to make a t-shirt saying that now. And then the darker blue and the black with Fabio as their face. And Anisimova, right? So I don't know what the deal is on that, but whatever. They're the masters at marketing. So they obviously know something that I don't know about these 2. Hopefully. All right. So, but hey, we credit it all to Rafa. Rafa is what created Babloat. Do you guys agree with me? right? Wherever you live, is Babloat have superstar status like here? Let me know. All right, maybe it's just where I am. Maybe it's just in America, but let me know. All right. Thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.